Welcome, welcome to Ayurveda in a modern world. People do not decide their futures, they decide their habits, and their habits decide their future. I am Somah. Welcome to this fun series, masterclass webinar. And this was created after I did a series of summits. And the survey feedback was we want more free information on some of these golden nuggets. So I have absolutely jumped in. I'm super excited. Last week we had a different guest who was asking me questions. Today I have my friend and connection, Galen, who is a friend of another friend, a student who has come to me. And some of the questions that we posted that we're going to talk about are, help chill me out naturally. Why am I arguing with everybody around me? Can you help me fall asleep and stay asleep? Why am I so self-critical? And which habits are contributing to that? Are there certain essential oils that are safe for ingesting? And how does that fit into herbs, oils, and Ayurveda? We will jump into all of that. Did you want to add anything to our questions, Galen?
Nope, I think we've covered it. Thank you.
Beautiful. Of course. So Ayurveda really means the science of life. So you've got Ayu and Veda. And when we're looking at this Sanskrit word, the science of life comes from what did you eat or not eat this morning? What are the colors around you and how do they affect you? What is the texture of what you're wearing and how is that affecting you? What is the sound that's happening around you? How does that affect you? Different seasons, different locations, different humidities, different environments literally affect people as uniquely as air temperature, sunlight, and soil affects the different plants in the world. Some plants, a cactus plant, loves intense heat, loves dry environments. And you've got a hibiscus, which loves moisture and humidity and water. You can't look at a cactus and expect it to be like a hibiscus or expect that a hibiscus can adapt to a cactus environment. So when we study Ayurveda, we're looking at what we call the dosha balance or the prakriti of each individual person. All of the different environments that we have air, ether, water, earth, and fire. And those 5 elements get broken into what we call sattva, rajas, and I'm having a mind right now. Sattva, rajas, and oh my gosh, the other guna. I'm going to come back to it because now I'm kind of embarrassed. But when we look at the different elements of how we move quickly, slowly, the sattvic energy is going to be air, lightness, freedom. The rajasic energy is going to be movement, more like the ocean, lots of things happening. And then this third one that I keep having in mind is going to be where we are feeling a sense of stoicness, a groundedness, an earthiness. And then when we look at our different types of energies that we draw in, we might say, oh, I have more Vata energy going on right now. It's very air and wind. Or, oh, I'm feeling very Pitta. I've got a lot of fire. I've got a lot of intensity behind me. Or there is the element of being very, hang on. Wonderful. We had to pause for a second and we had another person join us. So we have our Vata, Kapha, and Pitta are the basic dosha types that explain what is going on in the Ayurveda world. So when you're feeling intensity or creativity and reactiveness, that's going to be the fire water element known as Pitta. When you see eyes darting around and moving quickly and there's that intensity, that's very fiery. When you feel a sensation of more confusion or again, creativity or imagination or fear or lots of movement in the mind. That's going to be the Vata dosha, and that's going to be the air and the ether elements. When there's that feeling of being grounded or stuck, knowing, or depressed, that's that earth and water element known as Kapha. So Pitta is the fire water, Kapha is earth and water, and Vata is air and ether. So when we're in doubt and worry, that's going to be Vata energy. When we're in creativity and imagination, that's going to be the useful side of the Vata energy. When we're pissed off and intense and reactive, we're going to feel that intensity of heat. We're going to feel that Pitta energy. When we're feeling sharp and driven and definitive, that's the well-used version of the Pitta energy. When we're feeling sluggish and depressed or bored, that's that earthy, watery Kapha energy. But when we feel grounded and knowing and calm and patient, that's using the Kapha energy for our benefit. So how do you increase or decrease any of those particular traits? As I said in the very beginning, your environment does that. The people that you're connecting with does. The clothing that you're wearing does. The beverage that you're drinking is going to influence that. The temperature outside. Today in Colorado, it's very, very rainy. It's cold. It's cool. It's kind of a Kapha Vata energy. We're coming into the fall month. So we're going to move from Pitta energy season into Vata energy season. For some people, that creates panic, that creates intensity, that creates so much movement of time that creates confusion. For other people, that creates excitement, that creates an imagination. They're excited about all the changes and the shifts and the movement. So when you have your constitution looked at by an Ayurvedic practitioner or physician, they will let you know what your chemical balances are like and how different influences can affect you. So if you drink a warm beverage that's soothing and calming, that may help somebody who's got doubt, fear, worry going on. But if you're overheated and you're feeling a sense of intensity, drinking something hot is going to accent that. At that point, you would want something that would be more calming, more cooling. If you're feeling a sense of agitation and you have loud music playing on in the backdrop, that's going to create more intensity. So you'll find people who are extremely sensitive take an autistic and Asperger's, somebody who's very energetically sensitive. They're going to respond to outside stimulation in a manner totally differently than somebody who is almost deaf or very non-responsive to that outside stimulation. That's the person that goes, oh, I didn't hear that train. Oh, somebody came in the door right now. There's nothing wrong with that person. They respond to outside stimulation completely differently. So when you're looking at how you can create more creativity or imagination, you can increase the Vata tendencies or decrease it. You can increase the Pitta abilities, Pitta sensations around you, or you can decrease it. You can increase Kapha options, or you can decrease them. You can do this by food. You can do this with clothing. You can do this with conversation. Just before this call started, I was having an extreme Pitta Vata moment because all of the emails that I'd been trying to send out didn't seem to get sent. All of the links that I was working with kept breaking. I was trying to reach out for outside help, but I wasn't able to do that. So then I started to feel reactive. Then I started to feel non-responsive. And it was as though my Pitta energy, the frustration, the anger, the intensity of, why didn't you do this earlier, Somah? What was wrong with you? How come this wasn't planned out? Did that serve me? Not in any way, shape, or form. So as a practitioner, I was able to watch what was happening, step back and say, just go do the next step. Just go do the next step. And that allowed me to go do the next step. Now, what you all don't know is that prior to that even happening, there was a moment 15 minutes prior when I was really even more in panic mode than even Kim, who's on right now, got to experience me in panic mode. And I just shut down and I did a quick breath set because I knew that quick breath set would help me do my next step. So we're going to pause this really quickly and I'm going to have you in, I'm going to invite you in and do this fun little series with me. We're going to go just 30 seconds in each direction. Normally I would go 2 minutes in each direction. But this is what I did in a minute of panic. I want you to take on your right hand, your index finger and your middle finger and put it up on your third eye. And then I want you to take your thumb on the outside of your right nostril and your ring finger on the outside of your left nostril. And your pinky is up in the air. Now you're going to push in on your right nostril as you inhale on the left side, exhale on the right. Come back, inhale on the left, exhale on the right. So it's circling only in one direction. So here we go. Inhale left, exhale right. And you can go as rapidly, as slowly as you wish to go. I'll start slow and then I'll go faster. And remember, we're only here 30 seconds. Now, here's what I did just before our call. You're pumping the navel as you blow out each time. Go at any speed that serves you. But when I go more rapidly, my inner gaze is up at my third eye. Go just a few more rounds. Now inhale through the left nostril, exhale through the right nostril. Lower the hand, close the eyes, and just notice what your body feels. Did you shift the Pitta, Kapha, or Vata energy? Pitta being the fire, Vata being the air, Kapha being the earth. Now we're going to go the other direction. So the hand comes back up, same hand to the face. And you're going to press your ring finger into the left nostril as you inhale on the right side. Use the thumb, exhale on the left. Inhale right, exhale left. Now stay at that pace or pick it up. The inner gaze is up at the third eye and the navel is snapping in every time you exhale. Inhale through the right, exhale through the left, lower the right hand, close the eyes, and just breathe. Again, notice internally, what systems shifted? How was that breath technique connected to your mind and your body, the physicality, your creativity, your clarity? Just take a few more moments and notice, what did you feel differently? I'm going to go ahead and open your eyes. And maybe since there's just a few of us, we can just kind of go back and forth because I want this to be interactive. Kim, I'm going to jump on you first because I know you have a background in yoga and in teaching, so you're going to be less on the spot. And then, but Galen, I already know you, so I know you would be on the spot anyways. Explain to me how you felt in just that short time, and knowing again, 2 minutes in each direction is really what I feel it takes to make a incredible shift. But in just that 30 to 45 seconds, Kim, each direction, what did you notice?
I noticed a little bit of a shift just in my focus. And that's something I struggle with all the time. That's actually something I've never done, even with a yoga background. So it was super, super interesting. I don't know if it's because I'm sick too, but like I noticed just a sensation through here, which was very interesting. So it's definitely something I'm going to be I'm look forward to trying for a longer period of time and more intense emotions.
Thank you. And great. And again, I knew that you had a background, but I doubted that you had done that practice. And I have a few more because I've done you can do different versions of yoga, you can do different versions of meditation. And I've taken my experience because of Ayurveda, and I've done intense, just breathwork intensives for months and months and months at a time. So you have to have a variety, otherwise you get pretty bored doing the same thing. But one of the things that I've noticed, especially when traveling, back to the stuffiness, whether it's allergies, a cold, or what I call the travel sniffles, just when you're traveling, you'll notice that the nose starts to get full. But that's an Ayurvedic gift. Do your nose get stuffy when you travel because it's trying to block from germs coming in that are foreign to the system? So we don't want to really clear that out because it stays stuffy so that no new information comes into the body that's foreign. When you do breath work slowly, so if I had known that she had a cold, and I probably should have done this just guiding, knowing that there are going to be a lot of people watching this on the replay, go slow. If I had a stuffy nose, I would go really slow. And I bet within a minute of going slow, you would be able to pick it up because you would be clearing the nose. Now, if you just launch right in with a stuffy nose, it'll push back away from you. But if you go gentle, yeah, is that what you noticed, Kim?
Might I add? Yes, I actually
Yes.
noticed going slow because I've been feeling some, I don't know if it's allergies, but
The
anyway,
mucus, right?
breathe all the things, and I was going slow, and it's so weird because almost the sensation of like if you were to use what's that stuff called that babies used to, vapor rub,
Yep.
like that sensation of vapor rub through the nostrils, and I was like, that is so interesting.
Good. Yes, that is, it does do that. And I also have a oil blend called Sinus Blend, and it has different essential oils in it along with the carrier oil of olive oil. And you can rub it on the chest or breathe it in or put it on your back like a vapor rub. It's wonderful to use in like a steam area. And then to do breath work with it on your hands, slowly, slowly. And you're working it in through as a mucolytic, meaning it's dissolving the mucus. So fantastic to do. And in Ayurveda, everything is about what's the tool that you have at hand that's free. Well, you've got your breath, you've got your hand, you've got your movement, you can go into the shower. You can technically say that it's not free because you have to, run water, but you could turn on a shower and just run the steam and do that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that. Galen, tell me what your experience was doing the breath practice. Now, you have not done any of my classes as it relates to breathing or maybe you did the meditation course once, but I think you've been doing more of the oils classes. So was this new to you? And then how was the experience? You'll have to take yourself off mute.
Sorry about that. It was not as new to me because I took your 21-day challenge in December. So I had, and I still refer sometimes back to those videos actually. But like Kim, I'm, having this stuffiness. I think I'm getting over a cold, something very mild. And I only wish that I had had a little bit of peppermint oil to keep that flow going. That's what the thought was in me. But it was also very interesting in the fact that when I started this conversation with you, I had much more nasality than I do now. And the second thing that I wanted to say about being in the modern world, I forget to concentrate on my third eye. Like I'm blowing my, it's just from here down, if that makes any sense. So to bring in and actually have something physical. And again, if I had maybe a drop of eucalyptus or, handy, I'm going to try that next, then that's even one more sensation of getting into the third eye. So, yeah.
Perfect. I love that. That is what it's for. And it's funny that you mentioned that too, because when I do this practice, it's technically supposed to be done no less than 90 seconds
Okay.
and up to 3 minutes in each direction. I generally go 90 seconds to 2 minutes in each direction. And after about the first 30 to 45 seconds, two things happen. One, you start to think about that third eye. and you start to think about your intuition, you can feel that starting to really open. And then secondly, I start to really stand back and I can see my thoughts. And it's literally like I see all my thoughts going around in a circle. And that's when I giggle. I'm like, oh my gosh, you were so irritated. Oh my gosh, you got so fun. Wow, you really thought you didn't know. And I just sit there and I observe. But I feel zero emotion. I just sit and observe. And so then I go the other direction. And it's that, wow, this is phenomenal. Wow. And there's so much observation that takes place. So if I'm triggered, I would say personally for Somah, that is my number one go-to. If I am overcharged with Pitta energy or Kapha energy seems to be taking me low, or Vata energy seems to be running away from me. So when any of my outside forces aren't in line, if my Pitta isn't driving me directly, or if my Kapha isn't keeping me calm, or if my Vata isn't creating the perfect level of imagination, then that is a fantastic opportunity to play with that breath technique and allow it to clear that channel of whatever it was that was mucusy. Because when we have allergies, when we have a cold, when you have mucus in the body, that's not isolated from what's going on in the mind.
Right.
You have mucus in the mind. It is all ever connected. And that's really what Ayurveda stands for. So when we talk about it being in a modern world, it's because the modern world, we're getting away from religion per se. You can have your religion, you can believe in whatever you want, but the modern world kind of is a little bit more accepting of there are lots of different spiritual paths that bring us to this end result. And that is, I'm here to self-heal. I am here to self-heal. And so the first thing that I listed in the questions was, help me chill out naturally. And why am I arguing with everybody around me? This breath technique and this revelation of how are you responding to your Ayurvedic influence right now is your first form of recourse. And I don't like talking about any of the different prakritis or balances in a negative, like, oh, I'm too Pitta overcharged right now. Let's not put Pitta in my back. Yeah. No, it's that I am not utilizing my Pitta energy to the best of my ability. So I've heard, oh, I'm so Kapha right now. Don't make Kapha sound bad. No, my Kapha energy is not getting the uplift that I would like to get from my Pitta and my Vata. So that's kind of just a personal pet peeve of mine. So let's not ever talk negatively about what these balances are. So chilling out, arguing, the argument, whenever you yell at anybody, whenever you insult anybody, whenever you get reactive to anybody, I know we know this, but I'm going to say this again. It's not about them. It's about you. It's about your response. 100% of the time as a parent, when you yell at your child, this precious thing that you love more than anything on the planet, you're not really angry at your child. You're angry that your ability to communicate hasn't been in a manner that's serving you and the child. That's the big cognitive philosophical thing of what's going on. And so when we can break down, why am I frustrated with myself right now? Why am I not able to communicate with my child right now? Why am I not able to communicate with that lady across the street? Why am I? Because I'm having some level of disconnect from my system. So am I not sleeping well? Am I waking up in the middle of the night? Am I projecting worry into a situation that I have control or don't have control over? These are all things that are Vata connected. So we're allowing the air and the ether element of our mind get away from us. What increases that Vata tendency? Processed foods, airy foods, sugary foods, the change of seasons, the change of weather, the change of schedule, going back to school, going back to work, having a baby, moving, separating from a partner, getting connected to a new partner. Anytime you have a massive change, that's going to influence Vata energy. And the more that you can balance your Vata energy, the more you ride those changes. Some people travel very well. Other people, it doesn't matter. Every time they travel, they lose their bags. They get delayed. They get a cold. Rather than them picking on themselves for that, recognizing that that Vata has a tendency to get misaligned. So if they can do things that are more nourishing ahead of time, if they can be prepared for this, they can have a breath technique, then when, not if, those things start to go awry, they have a certain level of, oh, this is how I'm going to handle that. When I get stuck in traffic, I'm going to listen to this audiobook because this audiobook calms me down. Not, oh, I hope I don't get stuck. No, I hate it when I get stuck. I'm traveling at a time that I'm likely going to get stuck in traffic. So I'm going to have a backup of a beverage, something to listen to. Maybe if it's cooler temperatures, even a soft blanket across my lap, something to calm that energy. So Ayurveda in a modern world is about who are you around? What are you doing? And how is that lifting you up, calming you down, inspiring you, or making you want to withdraw? Falling asleep and staying asleep, same thing. Same thing. It's all about what's happening in the mind. Using a breath technique, having a ritual where you're staring at a candle for 5 minutes, thinking about all the things in your day that irritated you, thinking about all the things in your day that you created, thinking about all the things that have inspired you to want to do something tomorrow. That's an intensity that not everybody chooses to take on. But it doesn't take more than 90 seconds, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. You could do that every morning. You could do that every night. And that could be a perfect meditation that would focus the Pitta, chill the Kapha, and create the auspiciousness for the Vata. Why am I so self-critical, and which habits are contributing to that? Everything that I've just mentioned. We're self-critical because we're frustrated with how we managed our time. We're frustrated with how we spoke to somebody. We're frustrated with the choices that we made yesterday. What were the choices that we made yesterday based on? The habits, the people that we talked to, the clothing that we wore, the environments that we put ourselves in. And so when we're eating any sort of processed sugars, any sort of corn syrups, any sort of food dyes, super spicy foods if we already have a spicy tendency, or super grounding, calming foods if we're already super chill. All of that is going to affect our mind within 5 minutes to 2 hours. You will always notice, what did my food do? How did it leave me feeling? You know, we'll have really large meals around certain holidays and we'll feel that tiredness, not just because of the certain chemical components in, they'll call it tryptophan that's in turkey for Thanksgiving. But not everybody has that effect, because if they're stimulated by the conversation, if they're eating other foods on top of that, if they're doing things to healthy, they're going to find a relaxation from that tryptophan. But if they are triggered by the family, if they're feeling like all their family drama is coming up, or what they didn't do right for the meal, or they're feeling a sense of guilt, then that's going to actually make them check out. So your Ayurvedic response to your environment is as individual as what I was saying at the beginning, when the amount of water that a hibiscus versus a cactus needs is completely different and unique. When we are ingesting herbs, oils, foods, sugars, teas, all of that is 100% based on what's the quality. What is the quality? Where did it come from? When you're using a product that was in an isolate form, that is not as good for the body, the blood-brain barrier, the digestion. Now, do we use isolate forms sometimes? Yes, because we need to target something. So one of the questions that had come to me was, can you safely ingest essential oils? And we talked just a tiny bit surface level about that last week. When you're purchasing an oil from a multi-level marketing company, by law, they have to have a trademark on all of their ingredients, so they create isolates. So I'm not bad mouthing, that's just the policy of what they do. they'll take one frankincense and another frankincense and another frankincense and use isolates and then create one new one. And they'll tell you that it is kind of like a one size fits all. They'll do that with a rosemary oil. They'll do that with a eucalyptus oil. They won't give you the specified species or genus. Without that information, I can't answer your question as to whether or not that's safe. Now, if you're purchasing an oil from a company that is biocertified, meaning all of the efforts that go into that are actually reducing the carbon footprint. So you're not getting additional byproducts of steam and issues and testing something multiple times. It only needs to go through gas chromatography one time. Somebody's like, this was tested over 30 times. I'm thinking, why? You only need to test it one time, and then you find out what the reaction is. If you're using a rosemary oil and you use a sunil, that would be a topical oil. That would be something we put in a diffuser. That would be something we'd put onto an elbow blend or a headache blend. But if you want to put rosemary oil onto a roast or into your salad dressing, you would want a verbena. Now, if you only get one rosemary to choose from, my advice, don't cut that rosemary because that means it has been created in another form because they're selling it to you and they're selling the cross components of multiple different varieties. So you're not just getting that one type. Same thing with peppermint. Same thing with eucalyptus. We were talking about using eucalyptus in a steam, but if you're going to use a eucalyptus globulus, that would be something that would be more external. If I want to use an eucalyptus and put it on my skin or in my backwater, then I want a eucalyptus radiata, much different on the mucous membrane. If you don't get to choose, they've created one for you. I would never, ever use internally an essential oil from a multi-level marketing company or from a company where I could not understand exactly what the species was. They are selling you on multiple different components created into one product and created into one environment so that they can use those other components and go, oh, we have real frankincense in this mouthwash. Yes, but not really. You have one isolate component in it, but you're missing some of these others. I think that what happened to my personal digestion when I went back to my Ayurvedic doctor and I had 23 different food allergies, I personally believe it was because I was originally back in 2010, 11, 12, working with a multi-level marketing company before I started my oil company. And I was ingesting essential oils all the time. I was putting them in water. And all of a sudden within 2 years, I was allergic to a huge number of foods. And I believe that it created holes in my gut lining and created more celiac issues. Once I understood that you can't take a one size fits all and ingest it on a daily basis without that affecting the system, then I recognized. So when I want to put lemon oil in my tea, I'll take lemon oil, put it into a teaspoon of honey, let it emulsify in there, and then put the drop of honey into my tea. If I have acid reflux or something and I want to ingest peppermint, I'll take a smear of peppermint on the back of my hand and I'll lick it off because it's now, again, it's not one big glop. It's kind of been not diluted, but on my hand, I'm not putting a full drop into my mouth. That's way too intense. If I want to add lavender to my lemonade, I would take the lavender, I would put it onto a half lemon, and I would squeeze the lemon into my lemonade. See how I'm applying that? I am not directly putting it into my beverage because if I did, I would have oil, water, oil, water, oil, water all over the top of my beverage because oils are hydrophobic. So they do repel water. So you have to, you can put it onto a Q-tip or a ice cube and then put that into something. Ingesting oils is not for everybody. And we do need to be aware of what your gut health is, what your mucolytic content is, how much sickness, health, what your vibration is, and absolutely where the oil is coming from. I had a very intense conversation with somebody just a few days ago who worked with a multi-level marketing company. And I guess I was triggered because I learned all about oils when I was in Ayurveda. I actually came to Ayurveda school thank you so much, in India in 2013. And I got to test all of my multi-level marketing company oils. I tested them, and that's when I found out about the different components. I went back and I talked to that multi-level marketing company, and they told me, we've teamed up with the world's greatest scientists to determine what the ideal balance of each oil should be. For who? For what purpose? For when my dad had Parkinson's, or for when I was looking at skin cancer, or for when my friend over here had a bone degenerate? That's why we use the different species. And a true essential oil practitioner, somebody who works in the Ayurveda world, they will know what proportions, they will know what species, they will know when, how, and where. So the modern world really comes into how can we use this stuff on a daily basis. And my whole niche is getting people off their pharmaceutical misuse of ingredients. I think that pharmaceuticals are wonderful in the right environment, but I do feel that as a population in America, I would bet 70% of the people who are on things could probably be off, and doing simple things like wake up, do a little breathing, do a little foot rub with some oils, stare at a candle, write down some intentions for a day, maybe pick up the phone and go for a walk, talk to a friend, tell them what my intentions are. What I just said, more than 90% of the people watching this video do not do what I just said. And if everybody did what I just said for 5 days, that's my stretch to you all watching this video, 5 days, starting tonight, from whenever you watch this video, stare at a candle, feel the energy in your body, use an essential oil, breathe it in, give yourself a foot rub, set an intention of what you want, look at what you want to release, either write it down, talk to a friend, just that, 5 days in a row. Tell me what happens. Tell me what you feel. Tell me how your life absolutely transforms, because it will. Ayurveda is the science of life, and us getting in tune is not part of our culture right now. We ask all of our questions outside. You ask your doctor, you ask your teacher, you ask your business coach, you ask your friend. We don't know how to be quiet, be still, and see what's bubbling up from us. And that's really what Ayurveda means. What are the foods that your body really needs to nurture itself right now? And when you're arguing with people, and when you're up and insomniac in the middle of the night, and when you have an inability to chill out, it's because of the substances and experiences that you have set yourself in. It's a state of mind, not a state of affairs. Do you have any follow-up questions?
Yes, I do. Can you hear me? I don't know if I'm still on mute. I'm not, like, what is a multi-level marketing company? And I don't know if you're allowed to say like any name brands or anything on that, but I'm not sure where I'm getting what.
Young Living, who else did something recently? Dr. Josh Axe. Anybody where by you purchasing, they benefit and they have an upline. So they're really more trying to get you to sign on 3 people, sign on 3 people, sign on 3 people. That's a multi-level marketing company. And I think multi-level marketing companies are fantastic in a regular retail world. My Ayurveda experience is any supplement, herb, oil, anything that you would ingest internally, anything that you take for health purposes, you will find a better, higher quality product that is not a multi-level marketing company. 100%. I have never, ever, ever found an herb, a supplement, an oil in a multi-level marketing company that wasn't somehow, some way diluted, adulterated, or shifted because it had to fall in their trademark for the marketing. So if you want to take supplements, if you want to drink certain beverages, if you want to take certain, like Purium was a thing for a while. And I knew a couple people who were in it. And I'm like, I did my own research. And if you wanted to take what the Purium was for, there were so many other better companies. And in the Ayurveda world, that's really what we do. I have so many connections to people who are purchasing herbs. I don't sell them. I make nothing off of that. If that's something you want to know more about, I would put you in touch with an Ayurvedic physician. Ayumine, if you're in the Colorado area, Ayumine, fantastic facility in the Lakewood, Colorado area. They work with Ayurveda and psychedelics. And what they do with psychedelics is they find out what's going on in the nervous system. And they've taken people who have been on medications for 10, 15, 20 years, retired vets, war vets. In 3 sessions, they did the entire head to toe balance of what was going on. Then they ended up, one gentleman did a ketamine session with a physician there, licensed practitioner, mental health, as well as Ayurveda. Another one had done a psilocybin journey. They were done with medications and they just used the herbs. They just used these natural things, but they had been told by so many Western physicians that that wasn't doable. So many options now. I love being in this realm. Did I answer your question about the ingesting of the oils?
Yes, that was thank you very much. That was very in depth.
Good.
It is very interesting though, to think about what's available and what we put in our bodies, even though you think you're in a natural, holistic kind of mind.
But the FDA said yes.
So, and I don't think I've used any of the multi-marketing type of products. I generally stay with the like Auracacia kind of brand.
Or Acacia, Wyndham, now they're just. So what happens, and I don't know if I said this in last week's webinar, but what happens is that when you're purchasing oils, when I'm in India, when I'm in Bulgaria, and I'm there in the field and I'm meeting the people I know, I get to see who's buying what from where. And because they really cater to the person like me up through the person like Tustin's, where they want you to have anywhere from 5,000 to maybe 100,000 customers. You start to get more than that, you're going to end up having to have a lower quality product because not everybody is that interested in a higher quality product. So are they going to keep trying to sell to that? No. So what they do is they take the land that they get originally from the crops and the seeds, and then every time they expand on the outskirts and expand, they recreate the soil and the land, but it doesn't necessarily have the same heirloom seeds. Or maybe that land got more damaged from hail, or maybe there was more issue with the watering, or maybe there were people that weren't able to pick that day and they had to come the next day and there was something off on the harvesting. Or anything that can go wrong, that will go wrong with crops, but you're still on organic land, or you're still this particular company. So they can sell it, but then they can drop the price by almost 50%. Now, me, if I were to smell that oil and I were to smell the oil that's on the other side of that, I can smell it hands down, day in, day out. As much as you would be able to smell the difference between your grandmother's favorite pie and a frozen Mrs. Smith's pie from King Soopers. You can just see the difference. You can smell the difference. There's no question that the nutrition is different too. That's the oil situation. So when you get into Whole Foods, natural grocers, and even the health store, they're buying it such an amount, and they have to have a refund policy. So anybody could use 90% of the bottle and turn it back and say they don't like it, and the company has to take it back. You're not going to get that from a high quality, reputable. They're going to be like, no, you buy it, you own it. There's nothing wrong with that oil. But people who have a lower quality, where maybe it sat in shipment and then it was in the warehouse and then it got overheated and then maybe this happened, all of that can happen. And then they'll have a different refund policy, and technically, if you were to go test it, it will show some of the basic components, but it will not score the same way that my oil will. or that a company who also purchases from the same location. I'm not saying that I'm the only one. There's a handful of us, but really only a handful. There's not that many.
Yeah, I'm
And if
excited.
they are, we're all buying from the same place.
Yeah, I'm excited to check out Taspins as well.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, I'm going to do another email. Hopefully in the next, by tomorrow morning, you should all have another email. And I'm going to go through Somah's favorite things, all my favorite things on the
Nice.
Taspin site. Give us another week and the Savitur items will start to pop up. We're trying to hold back on some of the Savitur orders. This is September 15th. By September 20th, everything should be online at Taspins. And if you don't find your product, send us a personal message. And either one, we discontinued it and we can bring it back, or two, we discontinued it and you're the second person that's asked for it in 3 years. So it's one of those or the other. But Taspin has been working, they've been purchasing Savitur oils in bulk. So in the big drums and gallons and jugs, and then they make fantastic products. So we make very, very different ingredients. And I'm going to go through, as I said today, I love their foaming hand wash. I love their eye serum. They have so many great products. And I'm actually releasing my bug spray, and we're just going to use theirs, and we'll see how you all like it. And if people are like, no, we want the option of both, we'll bring it back. But we're testing the audience, you, to see what do you like, what do you not like, and we'll go from now till the holidays, and then we'll see what we need to bring back or revamp. But they'll have all of the single oils. Before, they only gave you one choice of oil. Now with Savitur, they gave you the one choice of oil. It was a Savitur oil, but with Savitur, you've always had multiple choices. And so that will come back for sure.
Wonderful.
Thank you for your
Thank
questions.
you
And
so
all of
much.
you who are watching this, please, if it hasn't been the following week, September 22nd, the theme is still open. So I will be taking feedback through Monday, letting me know what it is that you want, and then I'll make an announcement of what that theme is going to be. And hopefully I'll have my technical stuff going, and so that you all can get these links properly in a timely manner. I'm so sorry.
Thank you for everything. I really appreciate it.
You are welcome. Thank you for being here, and thank you all for watching, and be sure to drop me a line if you want to have a personal 15-30-minute discovery call, and we can clarify what's going on in your world. Ayurveda in a modern world, it's everywhere around us, the science of life. Namaste.
Namaste.